What's up, YouTube? This is Joel with True Life Investing. Got a new stimulus update for you today. A lot of things have happened. We got a lot of good news, and there's just so much, but we're going to get right into it. Remember, I have timestamps down in the description, so if you want to jump to a certain section in the video, then you can get straight to it, hear what you want to hear, and then go be on your way. We're going to talk about three things today. We're going to talk about stimulus, third round stimulus, monthly payments. The next thing is going to be the GDP from Goldman Sachs, them forecasting it going up. And the third thing is going to be Janet Yellen, who's going to be the new Treasury Secretary. So we're going to get right into it, but don't forget, if you want to start investing, use my two links down in the description. You can either start with WEBULL or with ROBINHOOD. Trust me, they're great platforms. You're going to get some free stocks and be on your way to growing your wealth. But let's get right into it. So the first thing, $2,000 stimulus checks. There's a lot of talk going around of, oh, they're only going to be $1,400. Well, and you know, they wanted it to be $2,000, like somebody called AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She said, hey, when you say $2,000, that means $2,000 stimulus checks, not one round of $600 and then another for $1,400. She and a lot of other of the representatives are going to be pushing for another round of $2,000 stimulus checks. And so one of the things that what happened today in the hearing for the with Janet Yellen was that, hey, should we go with monthly payments to help out people in need, or should we just do this direct payments, these one-time direct payments? And she kind of really didn't answer the question. She kind of talked around it, but there is people who are thinking in that way, and there is some push behind that, because they think, you know, hey, why do we want to keep giving them tax credits when we can say, you know what, let's just give them some small monthly payments so that can help them out each and every month as we go through this, as we go through getting all the vaccinations out, helping out the economy, getting the economy back to where it used to be. So this is something that was mentioned today in the hearing, and is something that some of the representatives are considering. And you got to think, what would be better? I don't know. You let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think that these one-time payments are helping out, or would you rather have, you know, split up monthly payments of, you know, say $500 or $600? You know, one of the things that we need to get to is that we need to help out the people that have lost their jobs. There's a ton of people that, just because of all the shutdowns and all the quarantining, they literally aren't able to work. They literally had to go on unemployment. And right now, there's 18 million people each week that are getting unemployment checks, and there's a ton of them that they want to get to work. They want to get back to providing for their families or for themselves. So this is something to look at, that the fight is not over. There's going to be talks of maybe $2,000 stimulus checks plus, or monthly payments that could be coming. And another thing to think about too is Janet Yellen, who is pretty much going to become the economic advisor, the person who's basically given advice to Biden about, you know, what we should do with the economy. She used to be she's the former chairman of the Federal Reserve. Now, if you know about, that's basically where they handle and they print all the money and all that good stuff. And right now, one of the things that she talked about was that rates being at historic lows. So we need to go big. Why not go big and help people out, get the economy back to where it needs to be? And whether it's monthly payments or these big direct payments to people, we need to get people some relief during this, you know, still it's a COVID crisis. There's still a lot of places that are shut down, not back to normal. So that is definitely something that we're going to keep listening for, keep checking the news, and making sure that we keep you up to date on. Next thing is Goldman Sachs boosts their GDP forecast to 6.6%. If you don't know what the GDP is basically the growth rate of the economy. You know, it's an important indicator of the economic performance of the country. So when you think about as far as how well the economy is doing, or, you know, hey, is the economy booming, or are we in a recession? This is what a big factor of what it's measured by. And one of the things that I wanted to show you is that they have predicted for the GDP to be 6.6% for this year. So it actually, I think, was at 6.4, and then they raised it up to 6.6. Another thing is that they said the unemployment is going to be towards under 5%, actually at 4.5% by the end of the year. So what does that mean? That means that we're getting more people back to work, getting more jobs are created, and so helping out the economy by creating jobs and getting people back to work. So one of the things I wanted to show you is that back in 2018, the GDP was 4.1%. And in 2019, the GDP was 5.4%. Those were some really great years in terms of our economy. Our economy was booming. We were people were making more than they've ever made before, as far as like on an average. And whether it's for minorities or women, everybody was increasing in their job as far as pay. So the economy was growing. If we were doing really great and we thought we had such a great economy back in 2018 and 2019, to think that was at 4 and 5%. Now Goldman Sachs, who's one of the big ones that's going to be forecasting this, if they say, hey, it's going to be even more bigger, that means that there's going to be a lot of things that are going to come into play to boost up the economy and get us back to where we were prior to COVID. So that is great news. Unemployment coming down, GDP being higher. There's a lot of places that are saying, hey, we're going to get back to normal. You know why? We got vaccines. We got the stimulus packages coming. We're going to get people back to work. Whatever it takes, we're going to make it happen. So the next thing, this is a big one. So this actually happened today. There was a hearing that lasted close to 3 hours, and it was over Janet Yellen, of her becoming the new Treasury Secretary, her going through her hearings, basically being interviewed by the current representatives, like, hey, is she going to be a good fit and all this? And she pretty much got the job. But one thing I want to know, she was the first woman to be the chairwoman of the Federal Reserve. She was the first woman, and she will be the first woman to be the Treasury Secretary of the United States. So this is huge. This is something that's never been done before. It's a big step for women as far as getting these really high positions, and it's going to be something where she has a lot of experience dealing with the economy, dealing with finances and whatnot, and now she's going to be the Treasury Secretary for the United States on Biden's team. Next thing, I don't know if you noticed today, but stocks were already climbing. You know why? Because she was talking about, hey, we got historic low rates. When you have historic low rates, it means you borrow more. So what she's saying, we're going to do a stimulus package. We've already got this. Me and Biden already talked about this $1.9 trillion package, but that's not the end of it. That's just the beginning. Think about it. If she was on like kind of the same train as everybody else in terms of getting the economy back to where it's supposed to be, getting people back to work, getting people direct payments, getting the economy back to where it used to be, she's going to be willing to, hey, let's do more stimulus packages. Let's get the United States back up and running under this new administration. And she's going to be pushing for it. And so today the stocks rose. It was huge. During the hearing, she was talking about getting COVID relief, getting the economy back to where it used to be. So, I mean, this is huge. With, like, I have it on here, rates at historic lows. She said it's time to go big. She talked about infrastructure for electric vehicles and tax credits for electric vehicles. So, like for Tesla, because they've done past this certain threshold, you can't get a tax credit, federal tax credit from when you buy a Tesla. So they're talking about bringing those things back for those for the electric vehicles. They talked about building more infrastructure around electric vehicles and creating more jobs around that. And when you think about it, those aren't low-paying jobs. These are high-paying jobs, okay? Well, when you have these high-paying jobs, usually they require a lot of skills. Well, how do you get those people to have those skills? Well, you got to get them to college, and you get them into a place where they get trained. Well, this is one thing that they talked about was, hey, we're always hearing this talk about, hey, let's give the people community college for 2 years for free. So they were talking about, like, why should we stop there? We need to get them skills that go beyond just a 2-year associate's degree, but get them these types of jobs for the future that eventually, some software, some that won't replace them, but actually they'll be able to have skills that'll continue on into the future. So then there was talks about, hey, what can we do to have 4-year degrees of getting those free for people, and helping people to get better education, better skilled, higher paying jobs. So a lot of great things they talked about today. One of the big things also too that they talked about was small business relief. More PPP going to these small businesses in these areas that are really hurting. And this is something that I'm a big believer in, just because I work for a small business, and we actually got a PPP loan back in mid of last year that really helped our company to get through the pandemic. And so to me, I understand how big it is, how much of an impact it makes. And so moving forward, if there's businesses that you've got people who this is their livelihood, and because of this pandemic, there's so many that have lost their business, lost what they've been working for years and decades. Let's get those people back their businesses, because guess what? Those people that have those businesses, they hire people. That creates more jobs, boosts the economy. Whenever people got more jobs, they're willing to spend more. That helps the economy. So there's so much that goes into play with a lot of this relief that they're looking to bring. And it all comes down to, okay, you got somebody who's going to be pushing to get more stimulus pushed into the economy. They talked about, hey, well, what about the debt? And, this is a growing debt. And we know more stimulus we do, the more our debt's going to grow. And one of the things that she stated was, look, right now we got to get COVID relief. We have historic low rates. We got to look past that. If we get the economy back to where it's supposed to be, then we can start tackling the national debt. So they've got a plan. They plan to give some relief to, whether it's small businesses, direct payments. They're even, some of them are going to be pushing for monthly payments, just because they think that's more effective than direct payments. We've got a lot of banks and a lot of forecasting that's being done that says, hey, this year the economy is gonna get boosted. We're gonna get stimulus. We're gonna get back to where we're supposed to be. We're gonna be even better. We've got the vaccines now. Where Biden said, in the first 100 days, he wants to get 100 million of the vaccines out and distributed. So there's so much that's going to be happening very, very soon, and they want to make this happen just to get people back to normal. They want to get kids back to school. They've got billions of dollars that's going to be poured into safety equipment, ventilation systems, back into schools to get kids back to normal in their normal daily lives, getting them back to learning, getting people back where they can go back to work. So with this stimulus updates, we're going to be bringing more to you. Anything that comes up, tomorrow is Biden's inauguration. I'm going to watch the whole thing and then give you a summary of what he brings and what he has planned for his agenda, and then I'll be bringing that to you tomorrow night. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, like the channel. Really appreciate all the support, and remember, we can do this together. We're all a team, and we're all going to move forward, get back to where it used to be, and even better. This is Joel with True Life Investing. You have a wonderful day.